Welcome. Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Chip Salyard, who is the VP of Sales at Outsystems. Welcome to the show, Chip.
Thanks, Jessica. Pleasure to be here.
You have a ton of experience in enterprise sales. You live abroad in China for 9 years. You got a large team, and some of the large clients that you work on to help them modernize. Those are great stories to share. And I wanted to have you on the show to talk about the trends you're seeing in helping legacy systems become more modernized, and also share some of the tips and lessons learned in enterprise sales. So let's have you talk first, Chip, if you don't mind. What does Outsystems do? And maybe share a story around how it really helps a company.
So Outsystems is a web application development platform. We allow customers to use our platform and build applications for web, mobile, and vary others on any device that they may want to use it for.
Okay, so it's an open source API kind of platform to help modernize legacy systems. Can you give an example of, say, a particular large client that you're helping now? What is it that a lot of clients are doing specifically?
Yeah. So I'll talk about a client that we won a couple quarters ago that was a really exciting one to work with. It's an insurance company. It's a global insurance company. So they have assets in Australia, in London, and in America, and they are re-architecting their entire back-end strategy. So they have very old applications and very old systems that they know no longer provide value to their customers in its current form. So it's a legacy modernization. It's basically rewriting their ERP systems. Mm-hmm. And we're helping them that with one of our large global partners, NTT Data.
I see. All right. Well, that's a massive project. Often it's like multi-year approach then, isn't it?
It is. On this one, it's interesting, and I'm glad you said that. Building applications with your own code can take 18, 24, 36 months. A lot of customers don't have that time now. So our system allows them to go in and do it very, very quickly to actually build new apps. And we talked a little bit about open APIs, connecting into current systems and using that information to get that data to the people they want to get that to allow them to make business decisions. So ours it's really rapid development. We talk about anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months to bringing that MVP, that first value for the customer.
Well, everybody loves that. If you can speed up that development, time is money. Let's talk about sales, because you've done a lot of enterprise sales and you manage a team. In this particular large insurance company, how did you get that client? Because I know enterprise sales, of course, you have multiple roles in that organization that you have to influence. So how do you approach building the pipeline there? How do you get meetings? How do you move the ball forward in large clients like that?
So we were very fortunate. We used Gartner, and the customer also used Gartner, and they found us in the upper right-hand quadrant. So that was how the introduction. It started with a sales rep and a technical person going in to visit the CIO in Australia. And it started at a very small project trying to help them build one application. As we had the second, the third, and the fourth conversations, the conversation actually expanded to, you guys can do a lot more than what we're intending to do. So they promoted us to their folks in Australia. So we were able to take into the United States. So we were able to get the United States and Australia together to understand what they were doing as a digital transformation project. Then we got involved with NTT. So it turned into a multi-million-dollar large project that we're very excited about working on. And as I said, we've already delivered our first product for them that's going into production shortly.
I want to ask for your tips on your approach in general when you try to coach your team. What is the recommendation to focus on that are key important pillars for executives you're talking to, and how do you qualify opportunities to make sure you're not wasting time on the ones that are not worth it?
And that's a really important point. We try and lose quickly. So if there's not a good fit, we want to let that go, keep it warm, but work on companies that have burning needs. So as we talked about earlier, I think probably the three things, the three buckets I think executives are most focused on is generating revenue, reducing or mitigating that cost, and then risk mitigation or compliance. So when we get into those three buckets, then we can start to have good conversations about the pain. So that's when we start working on, and I've heard on your previous shows, you talk about MEDDIC. So I came from parametric technologies in the mid 90s, and I spent 15 years at BMC Software. So I feel very comfortable using the sales methodology. It's really a sales qualification methodology called MEDDIC. And we've adopted it a little bit to MEDPIC. And based on that, the thing I coach my team on, the very most important aspect of MEDDIC is really making sure you have a strong champion, someone that has juice in the organization, that when they speak, people listen to. So that's probably the key thing that we focus on, is as you build that value map, making sure there's a connection between what the customer's trying to do and what we and our partners can do for them, and then make sure it's prioritized in the highest fashion so we don't lose on a no decision. Once we do that, get that value map and alignment done, the most important aspect of that is, can we coach and really build our champion? So we build champion decks, which allow us to really take our champion and almost put him on the payroll, where he or she are selling on our behalf when we're not at the company on a particular day.
Okay. I want to clarify. You're saying, like, as if you're putting that person on your payroll. You're saying there is an incentive to having that person be a champion?
Yeah, so that's a perfect. The incentive is, and again, I call it WIFM, right? What's in it for me? So that champion usually has something that's important to them. It could be delivering a project on time. It could be delivering the project on budget. It could be going home at 5 o'clock every day to spend time with their family. It could be getting in line for a promotion. So when I think incentives for customers, I always ask my champion, what do they want to do? Where do they see themselves in the organization? How do they want to use this project, this successful project, to leverage that to gain more exposure, more experience, and possibly more promotions?
True. What's in it for them? Yes. We all need to be motivated. But the motivation is different when it's like a CXO level versus the person who's doing the day-to-day job. Do you approach it where you divide up and conquer? You have certain people approach certain level and you approach the executive?
Yeah. So we have a very strong, Outsystems has been around for 20 years. So we have a very, very strong technical team of people that have vast tribal knowledge and experience of how we've helped customers. So that's one area where we will send in a solution architect to work with them, and or a partner. In addition, we have the sales folks, whether it's a senior account executive or a senior account manager. So I have the senior account managers on my team, where we work with the rest of the ecosystem. And some of our ecosystem folks are people in professional services that take their knowledge and talk about people, process, and technology. Even though we're the technology part, understanding where the people and process fit. We also have an organization called the Business Value Consultant. The Business Value Consultant can go in and understand what their current state is and help them paint that picture of what are the negative consequences on that current state and what's the desired state, and making the linkage to talk about the desired state and then the positive business outcomes. So it's really important we quantify what it is, the outcome that they're looking for. If it's not a big enough win, it may be a project that falls into do nothing, right? Where it just doesn't get the momentum. And that's a waste of time for both the customer and for us. So we really think of it like a sandwich, where we're working up technically from the bottom, making sure the customers or the prospects have hands on keyboards and feel comfortable with using the technology. And at the same point, we're making sure that we're connected to the initiatives and the goals of that company to make sure we're aligned that this is an important enough project to dedicate funding and time and effort to make it successful.
Well, you have a freemium model, so that makes it a bit easier to have the end users actually try it out, get a taste of what it's capable of doing, right?
Right. We've actually found with digital transformation and application modernization and just app development overall, the developers have a much bigger stake in the business success today more than ever. I think I read a statistic the other day, 67% of CIOs have a concern that they have a shortage of developers. And then you have citizen development on top of that. So more and more people are taking charge. And if you think about some of the apps that are built, if you go to your iPhone and you think of all the different applications that are on there, that is the new economy. That is customers in companies are trying to get to those customers to give them a great experience. And it can be around simply customer experience. It can be around workforce innovation. It can be around legacy modernization, or it can be process automation. So something like a field service worker out there that needs, instead of filling out a paper form, using his iPad or his phone to get information back to the company quickly, accurately, so they can take it, digest it, and store it.
How do you clone yourself? You know, when you are that good with that experience, the expertise, the skills, how do you make sure that every one of your team member really can take advantage of what you have to offer? So how do you scale that team's knowledge?
So process sets us free is what my boss says, right? So and that is very simple. It's not a robotic motion, but we have enough success that we have guideposts, if you will, right? So as we look on the sales process, it's about doing steps and not cheating, right? So we all have a little mirror on our desk, and we look at that mirror when we're doing our forecasting or getting ready to get in a call. Are we prepared? There's no one else. We have to own it. And I have an unbelievable team of people that really do. They get excited about coaching because we coach in a very positive manner. And that's a really a gift that I think I've received with previous bosses and experiences, where inspection is really important, but it's not inspection to find fault. It's inspection to find what we're doing well. And if we aren't doing something well, to make a plan to go find that piece of information or go build a better champion.
Mm.
To me, that's probably the most important thing as you coach and you go through it. It's understanding the process and really being process pure, no shortcuts, no drive-by selling, right? So we have a model at the company that it's short, it says LAER, LAER. A lot of companies, land, adopt, expand, and renew. You have to land correctly. You have to make sure the adoption not only is technical, but has proof points within it. On the expansions, you're really talking about different use cases. So you're taking one champion and you're asking that champion to take you to another person that could potentially be built into a champion. And then with SaaS, it's a beautiful model. It really is about renewing it, right? These are very short term, whether it's 1 or 3 years. That's a short term in technology. So we continually have to work with our product development teams, with our customers, with our users, to make sure that we're anticipating what they will need in the next release, in the next release, in the next release. And it's not about the old perpetual software model. You do a release every 9 or 12 months. We're doing releases in days to make sure that these features and functions are business ready for the customers.
Last question for you. We are transforming so rapidly. What do you see as the next trend that's going to be a big opportunity for you?
I see, well, I think a lot of companies with digital transformation are taking steps to solve immediate problems. The anticipation of generating more revenue in making a customer loyalty. And again, I go back to Apple all the time because they really changed the business world upside down. To me, and I think our Outsystems, it's one of the reasons I'm here, it's all about the customer. So being able to allow that customer to have a say in how the business treats them and how it reacts to them, I think is critical. So digital transformation with the customer first mentality. And then I think from a partner perspective, as we look at it, partners are critically important to us. So I see partners going in, using our platform and putting their own IP on it to solve a particular problem. So I've always, years and years, I've been the, buy my software. Now build it with my software. So I think we've gone from that packaged software almost to the point where there really is no ingenuity, no individualism. And I think more and more companies are demanding that I need to be special. I do things a little bit differently. So to me, the build on the application, but being in a very, very, very simple way that a developer with years of experience can do it, as well as a citizen developer through a visual model can build an application. So that's what I see as one of the biggest changes coming in the next few years.
Bright future ahead for you and Outsystems. Thank you so much, Chip, for being on the show to talk about innovation and share tips on enterprise sales with us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
There you have it. Take it up with Jessica Lee, Chip Salyards from Outsystems.